And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the 2025 RSL Revival StarCraft League Season 3 Playoffs Day number 2. I'm of course ZvP, and with me I'm joined by these amazing casters as we are co-streaming. We are co-streaming this series, co-streaming this event. We of course have permission to basically react stream to the mainstream of the RSL, and we are jumping into our third series of the broadcast. We already wrapped up with our previous PvP featuring Zoud and Classic. We then wrapped up with Shin versus Trigger, and now we are here with herO versus Reynor in a PvZ. And again, I do really appreciate that they are incorporating sort of when it comes to the broadcast here, coming in with a lot of expertise when it comes to the Zerg race, and going to be crucial here coming into our PvZ. Now, as you just mentioned before this series, before the break, this is going to be a rematch. herO and Reynor, they faced off in the League Cup not too long ago, where herO did beat Reynor in a best of 7 in a 4-1 scoreline. It was a very, very intense series, very aggressive, very chaotic. We'll see how our players do adjust coming into this best of 5 rematch. Here we go. I do lean towards herO, but I do believe that Reynor, he has been back on the grind. He's been lost in the Rift for quite some time, Drew. He has been lost in the Rift, but recently has come back to us, putting in some time to practicing, to improving, to playing StarCraft once again, and we'll see if it's enough to bring down herO. He did take down Classic in the lead up to this series. He just barely beat Classic 3-2, went all the way to the ace match, and we'll see if he can take down herO, as herO is a very different kind of player, much more aggressive, much more assertive. Protoss. Oh boy. Here we go. As we are soon to be getting in. Meanwhile, shout out to Archon Studio for being the main sponsor, one of the official sponsors of the RSL. Again, I do recommend checking out the podcast this week, as we went very in-depth as to the miniatures game, as to their ambitions, the AMA, the 2-hour AMA that they did hold, as alongside some other kind of things affecting, you know, the future of the miniatures game, their future as well. They have like a 9-year potential plan, or release plan and release schedule on what they want to add to their game, but there's a lot getting into that, of course. For now, again, check out the Patreon, !RSL in the chat. So they do have a Patreon page to support the event, to support the tournament, and to help grow the event as well. True. So they do have their Patreon, otherwise, and that's leading into the offline finals, of course, which I'm sure they're about to get into. There's an offline finals happening in Korea that's going to be in 1 month's time, or even less than a month, I think, at this point. But over in December, they are going to have a 2-day event on, I think it's the 13th and 14th of December, so less than a month away for those offline finals, bearing in mind that the winner of this tournament is going to be seeded and invited into those offline finals as well. So again, there's a lot on the line here. Yep, as you can see the dates, December 13th and 14th. I believe the 13th is going to be an open qualifier, and the 14th is going to be the main event, the 4-player playoff brackets. Oh boy. So 2 days of StarCraft. And again, that's around the corner. Meanwhile, the players are getting ready. As you can see, here we have them. Oh, the Smoj is real. Now, for those that are curious, Reynor is in Korea. That's why you can see he's in an apartment. He's in a hotel room. So Reynor, he's playing from South Korea. The assumption is that Reynor's in Korea so that he can also play in the qualifier as well, to be a part of RSL. But let's go. As Vitas are done, game 1 is going to be an Evil Heart, game 2 Persephone, game 3 Winter Madness, game 4 Magnetic North, and Tokamak at the end of the series. Let's go.
Very kind of fast, aggressive, explosive players. We like to think of their mid game as being their strength, not like the super late game necessarily. Both super quick players. I think this is going to be an amazing series. The following maps will be Persephone, Winter Madness, Magnetic North, and then finally Tokamak to round out the series. Alright guys, we're going to be jumping into our first game here. It's going to be on Evil Heart. Like you said, Classic did that Adept all-in when he played Reynor. I'm curious if herO was watching that, like, oh, that would look
and
I might go for some of that.
Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Evil Heart, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the red Zerg for Basilisk. It is Reynor. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player for T1. It is herO. And I'm on it. I'm on it, lovely. I'm on it. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. I do think that this series should be a close one. Personally, I lean towards herO, but I can see Reynor taking the series as well. I'm hoping for a back and forth. Regardless of the series score, I don't want a 3-0. I don't want a 3-0. I want to see a game 4. I want to see a game 5. And we start things off with a hatch block. Let's go with the proxy hatchery across the map. To wall up, to wall off. We have an early pull behind this as well. Reynor being hyper aggressive.
This drone will get in nice and early. We see the proxy hatch going down. The probe will get into the main base. It sees the... it doesn't actually see the pull time, and I thought he did see that.
Yeah, but he did see the lack of larva being spent there. There was 3 larvae just sitting there. You should tell him immediately what's going on as soon as you see that.
Sure, yeah, but he doesn't necessarily know, like, is it a 12, 13, or 14 pull, right? I guess he can maybe confirm that later. He does see the hatch now going down. We pull the probes. Obviously, you want to deal some damage to that. Once the Zealot comes out, he'll be able to eventually clean that up.
Yeah, finishes off the wall off here, so we can easily deal with the Lings when they come up. Gets the probe kit here, which is a big deal for sure, because now you're not really 100% sure. There are some scenarios where Reynor could just pull all the drones here, right? I don't think he's going to do that in this case, but it's nice for the Protoss to keep that probe alive so they can keep scouting and confirming if there's more Lings coming or if there's like a drone pool coming or something like that. But that will not be an option here for herO.
Yeah, absolutely, and there is a unit in the wall there, opting to not use that to kill the hatchery just yet. Doesn't want to let the Lings in, obviously. They're going to go to work on this Cybercore, and now we see the little dance where the Zealot tries to pretend it's going to move out to hit the Zerglings, and then that's why he's got that one Zergling behind, so if the Zealot does come out, he can get in that wall, and that's what we
so far, second Zealot has arrived. Here he has to be StarCraft, not being surrounded. The Cybercore is under fire. We do come in for the Sorrel. He gets one. Not even. Yeah, the Zealot does barely. Oh, is barely not going to go down. Very impressive control there from herO. He saves the Zealot. He kills the hatchery. That's going to be a kill, not a cancel. Queen is on the way. We have some extra larva, and that Cybercore still getting dangerously low, actually. The Cybercore. Can he get it? He wants it.
Oh, hatchlings come out.
Oh my
They
god.
actually did quite a lot of damage to that.
Almost.
If he could have got that, that would have been a huge pick-off there, delaying the Protoss tech forever, basically.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Standstill was a very clean hold for Classic, and now the problem for Reynor is he's trying to catch up on workers. As you can see, he's already very far behind in the worker department. But now Classic, or not Classic, herO has this counter-attack timing with the Adepts and a couple of Zealots, which is going to force even more units out of Reynor. So he's going to be in even a worse economical position, where he doesn't even have a gas yet, right? So just making slowlings here for Reynor feels very, very rough.
He wants it. Oh my god.
He comes back in, tries to get the Cybercore once
He
again.
wants that Cybercore.
But like you said, the real
Lings already back at
problem
home.
for Reynor is these Adepts.
herO doesn't get surrounded.
Shade into the main. There's no link speed anywhere to be seen. I think they're going to finish that shade and start going to work. Oh, the Lings are actually there. And he's forced to recall.
Yeah, that was a bit of a misstep by herO there. If he just put himself in a nook between the minerals, like with slow Lings and no Queen there's no way to actually efficiently clear those Adepts out. But he actually managed to go all the way behind, and Reynor gets the surround and is forced to recall. So that was probably the best case scenario that Reynor could hope for.
Yeah, so a bit of miscontrol there by herO. He does lose one of the Adepts. He's forced to recall. Behind this, Stargate follow-up base is on the way. herO is still in a better position, but there are opportunities here for Reynor. We'll see if he can catch the Adepts. We'll see if he can minimize more losses.
He's going to have to make spores at some point to deal with the Oracles. It looks like herO's in a pretty decent spot at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's pretty happy just to keep, forcing out a couple of more Lings, just keeping these Adepts at the bay, delaying the third hatch. As we can see, like the Oracle is about to come out, and this third hatch is not even started yet. So we're gonna have to, get more Queens, get spores, and then also we have to somehow afford a third hatch in all this. So the game is getting very, very complicated here for Reynor.
Yeah, I'm sure he has all these responses kind of mapped out, and I'm curious if he will send that Overlord in that we see near the main base to get the confirmation of the tech. He's obviously pretty preoccupied dealing with these Adepts just for the moment, but that is an option he has available to him.
Yeah, probably just blindly assume that. Yeah, actually, he did see the target with the Zerglings he made earlier from the hatchery.
Of course, yeah.
Or maybe he snuck another Ling in. Either way, he knows about the Stargate, and is now dropping Broachford and Evo Chamber before the third hatch. So
Jesus, there are just so many Adepts here.
Like he needs to get something to
and Reynor doesn't even have a third.
That we have here.
Yeah, and only now do we see Lings being on the way. These Adepts going to be running wild right now, trading so well against the slow speed Lings. He gets on top of the Adepts, but the numbers just aren't there for Reynor. The Oracle just flies straight over the Spore Crawler. It almost dies there.
Yeah, I would say even though like the Oracle didn't do much here, he's still getting so much value with these adepts, like killing all these lings. We only lost 3 drones, but
so it's been lackluster with the Oracle, but as mentioned here, the lings are just getting annihilated. Adepts stay shade behind the mineral line. Lings once again are going to be going down, and drones are falling, and Reynor just cannot keep up. These are so many losses for Reynor, and so efficient trades for herO.
So difficult to attack into with just lings.
GG.
And that's actually just going to be it.
Yeah.
GG is called.
Yeah,
Wow.
herO in a very good position after the initial fast pool plus hatch block defense. Like almost no damage, barely lost. I don't think he lost a single unit in defense.
Right.
And that just the counter pressure you have, even if you don't find damage with the counter pressure, just forcing Zerg to make more units in that situation. Because when you're going for these early pools, at least you're hoping to like kill off the first 2 zealots. So the adepts have to be a bit more careful when they move out.
Right.
But the 2 zealots still being alive just means that herO can just freely go across the map and just keep pressuring with the adepts, and you're forced into more and more lings, and you're just slowly falling more and more behind, which is kind of what happened there.
Yeah, just echoing what sort of said, Reynor, he needed more damage done with the initial proxy. If you remember, he even let the hatchery finish, so he lost the hatchery, he lost all the lings, he didn't kill the cybercore, he didn't kill the zealots, and as a result, he had to make more lings, otherwise he just died to the adept harass. So he had to make more lings, whereas otherwise he wanted to drone. He wanted to drone to be able to get into the mid game, get a 3rd base as well, but that was not an option available here to Reynor. So in the end, herO did snowball out of control. GG, well played. Even with herO making some mistakes where he lost 1 adept early and where he didn't really get much done with the oracles either, he was still so far ahead anyway where it didn't matter. Did not matter that there were a couple of missteps here and there. herO, he still was able to come out on top, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. Was it glaive or without? No glaives. No. The game ended too early for anything like Twilight Council. Vanilla adepts. Just vanilla adepts, but likewise slow lings, right? Slow lings to defend or anything like that. No upgrades on hero's units. It was too early for that. It was just regular adept aggression, and that early on it can do critical damage. I mean, it did, just because of the game state.
With some of these like early Blink Stalker timing and stuff like that can be difficult, but on the flip side you can also do...
But again, that was on Reynor. Like Reynor, he was the one that did decide to go for the hatch block, did decide to go for the early pool timing. So Reynor, he tried to dictate the pace of the game, and in the end it didn't quite work out for him. He did fall too far behind. And here we go. Now we're getting into our next game. 6 to 8 adepts at 430 is brutal. Or specifically, it's 6 to 8 adepts that early on when you did go for an early pool and a hatch block as well, right? Like, emphasis that the reason why this got so much damage done is because of how little damage Reynor dealt with his aggressive build. Remember, he was the aggressor early on, and he fell behind because he didn't do enough damage. And that was mainly just herO punishing, right? Punishing Reynor.
Yeah, absolutely. So the most likely thing we'll see here is just another target opener from herO, especially on this map. Like, we do see mix-ups, especially from herO, but especially on this map, I expect him to just open very standard. The big question is going to be is he actually going to skip the scout or not?
True.
Yeah, we will find that out in just a moment.
So as sort of said, again, standard openers is expected here. We do expect to see maybe herO deviating once we get into the mid game. Likewise, we'll see if Reynor also deviates as well with early tech. So we should be getting into our natural bases. This time there's no hatch block. This time there's no early pool. We're going to calm things down early on.
Enough to see if anything crazy is coming his way. On Reynor's side, he gets to take his natural base, which is always very, it feels kind of comfortable as a Zerg, right?
Yeah, it's a sort of thing where it's like it's more like a statistical choice, right? Some Protoss players prefer to not block, some prefer to do. You kind of, as long as you're good with your probe harass micro, you kind of end up in similar positions where if you go for the early scout, you will block the hatch, but you also sacrifice some minerals to send that probe out so early, so it kind of evens out in that sense a lot of the time.
Yeah, for sure, and we do just see it's going to be a gas pool, pretty standard opening here for Reynor on the back of this. This probe trying to deny as much mining time as it can by forcing the drones off the patches as they're already
just being as annoying as possible.
Mined from. That's the way the game works. It sends them to another mineral patch, and then here we see the core going down behind this as well as the Nexus.
Yeah, and herO is definitely one of the best Protoss players when it comes to doing this probe harass micro.
Oh, it's so well. I haven't played herO, but like in general, that's so annoying to do.
Yeah, yeah, herO is definitely next level when it comes to this. So Reynor is probably getting a little bit annoyed by this probe, I would imagine, at this point.
I sometimes wonder like how pros do this and not mess up their build, because it feels like they put so much attention on it.
See, I sort of expected a Proxy Robo from here. Proxy, I think I saw you mentioned that earlier in the previous series. Proxy Robo is not a thing in PvZ, so we do not expect to see a Proxy Robo at all in this series. It's not a viable build. So we expect to see standard openers out of herO, and we expect to see some deviation in the mid game. Proxy Robo is a thing in PvP, but that's different matchup.
And one thing I like about this map for the Zerg is you get to put your Overlord on the pillar at the natural, right? Like the kind of trend in recent and newer maps is that the
from here, opening up Stargates, coming down.
And then sometimes you have the airspace near the natural you can put it at if you want to. But on Persephone in particular, you get to see the whole wall for the whole duration with you know, no breaks in vision basically. So Reynor sees the exact timing of the warp gate and then decides to send his Overlord away.
Yeah, he sees the first adept coming out, and then he just tries to send it away, because obviously since there's a Stargate, there's either going to be a Void Ray or a Phoenix even, as you see here, so the Overlord would die eventually, so he's just trying to get it away before the Stargate unit comes out.
Yeah, Phoenix opener out of herO, okay. Now, the thing about a Phoenix opener is that due to the Phoenix, herO is able to hunt down the first Overlord and deny vision. Now, if you recall, we were making reference to their previous best of 7, and there was a game where herO did go for a Tempest Rush, where he went for a Void Ray opener, then went for a second Stargate into Fleet Beacon into Tempest, so something like that is an option, and what's important here, even if he doesn't do it, that's going to be in the back of Reynor's mind, is like, ooh, you're hunting down Overlords for a reason, what exactly are you hiding? Is it a Fleet Beacon? Is it a Stargate? Is it a Twilight Council? Is it a standard game? Reynor's going to be in the dark. So Reynor, he's going to be blind as to what's going on in the follow-up. We can see so far it looks like a standard follow-up here, but Reynor doesn't know that.
Double Oracle, and they use the Phoenix to lift the Queens and flying with the Oracles to pick up drones, right? But in the...
And you can see, I love this from herO. herO, he makes an Oracle, he's not moving out. He's banking the Oracles. And again, there's a lower chance that Reynor's going to be ready for this because of the Phoenix opener.
Yeah, for sure. And now we actually
he has to reveal it.
Unit here just at the moment. Okay, the Oracle does come over to help out the Adept with his third base.
Yeah, forced to reveal the Oracle. This is better for Reynor, now he knows. And you can see the Spore just began. The Spore just began for Reynor now that he knows that there's an Oracle on the way, at the natural specifically.
Going into, you know, lots of Lings and then Hydras eventually.
Oh, not the natural, where is it?
Down the line.
Yeah, when you see
in
the
between,
first you're like, okay, what are you up to? This is a little bit weird. But then you see the
third.
Oracles, and okay, this is just very standard. I can just go into my fast +1 melee and then either follow it up with Roaches or Hydras down the line. We have to wait and see what he does. But so far it's actually even a fourth Stargate unit, a third Oracle coming out here, which is not super standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed, making a lot of them. That could be like a map-specific thing. The main base.
We'll see if he continues. Yeah, he's making more Oracles. He's going to 4. Mass Oracle. Mass Oracle +1. I believe this usually entails charge. So Mass Oracle into charge is a build that herO is very fond of.
You can suddenly start targeting down Queens as they rally to the main, or you go between bases. And then once they're gone, you have kind of free reign on everything.
As Oracle production's not stopping.
Like he's delaying his tech a lot. Like there's no Twilight Council yet, so there's no Robo, right? He's paying a lot for this.
Oh, double Robo, not charge. Jesus.
Yeah, but like this is something that herO has done in the past, and it's also done it versus Reynor in the past. So Reynor is aware that this is an option.
Yep.
But normally a lot of time you see the third Stargate unit and the second Oracle in this case, and you're like, okay, this is a normal game.
Yeah, the problem is that he hasn't seen all the Oracles this time.
All of a sudden, 4 Oracles show up, and you get way cut off guard with your Queens, like it looks like here.
Yeah, these Queens way out of position. I think the Link just ran past the Oracles. It may have seen one, but I don't think it saw all of them. Suddenly they fly into the main, they pick up the Queen, as you mentioned, started going to town.
Oh, the drones! Oh my god.
So many
14!
Right now. They don't even care about the Spore hitting them a little bit. This Queen just gets away, but they're going to target down a Spore.
Yeah, they're going to get it as well. And only just one Oracle so
far. Kill it.
Lifting up the Queen was very cute by herO to stop it from being able to transfuse that Spore.
He's going back in!
A few more drones here before going back out.
Oh my god.
This is absolutely insane damage. herO has the worker lead right now after 16 drones going down.
And remember, what's the follow-up? Mass Immortal. Like, double Immortal production for herO. So he is ready for a Roach counterattack.
We'll be able to get, you know, Storm and Archons down the line as well.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious with this, what he's going to do with this Templar Archives, if he's actually going to get Storm, or if he's just going to go, like, charge down Archon Immortal and just try to finish the game.
Yeah.
That's something that's definitely an option here. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think it's good that Soda brought that up. There is a high chance here that there is no Storm, that he's getting the Temple Archives just for Charge Archon Immortal. Just for an earlier timing of Mass Immortal.
70 workers already. His economy is looking really good right now. I think he has options. He's added a ton of gates right now, and as this +1 finishes, I think you may be right. We might see some sort of Zealot Archon time in here.
There it is.
Storm on the way right now, so that looks to be the
And the scary thing here, so this is looking deceiving. You might be looking at this game state and be thinking, hold up, Reynor, he's got 78 workers. Like, he's good. He's recovered. That is not true. Reynor, because he lost so many drones, he had to spend all of his lava and all of his money re-droning. So now he's back up to a decent worker count, but his army and his tech is lacking because of that. So Reynor is in a worse position. We can see that herO is going for Storm. I thought that he was going to go for an earlier push, but no, he's going for Storm, and he's actually taking it to SkyToss. I don't think this is necessary. I feel like herO has a little momentum right now, and he could even try to end the game, but herO, he's thinking further ahead. He's calming down.
Units at the same time here, because he knows there's a potential for a timing, but he also knows that I have to keep scaling to actually keep up with the Protoss tech here.
Yeah, Raider's actually getting so much tech as well. He's getting the roach speed, he got the
I think because herO is being passive, because herO's not attacking, like Reynor's getting away with a lot. Like Reynor, he droned up heavily, and he's getting a hive and a spire. He's getting away with it. And all these upgrades.
I can just drone up and get online. There's no like real timing here for Reynor, I think, to actually try to punish herO. So we're both just gonna see what their plans are going into the later stages here.
Yeah, I've noticed herO takes his 4th base a little bit later than some of the other Protosses, like Classic, for example, and some Protosses that we've seen struggle with these Hydrolink Bane timings. I like that herO gets kind of a bigger army size before he takes the 4th. It makes it seem much more holdable.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially if you're already taking up to something like a fleet beacon already, and you're not really trading out many units, you can definitely afford to delay your 4th a little bit, especially when you had the early start. There's no reason.
So far, good reaction out of Reynor.
Losing the game.
As he shouldn't lose many drones here.
Yeah, we do see this Zealot run by.
Lose maybe one,
over here.
maybe.
Not able to get too many drones. Nice cleanup by Reynor. He does have this corner base instead of the kind of triangle one. So all his bases are
okay,
in a
now
line
we're
right
push.
now.
Jesus.
Here it comes. Here's this Immortal push. He has the Mothership on the way.
This is going to be a +2 timing instead for herO.
This push could potentially hit quite hard.
Yeah, definitely. Baneling's coming in now.
We need to see Reynor's army set up. He's got 10 Banelings. He has Baneling speed.
The part here for the Zerg is that you need to deal with this push right now, but you would ideally also want to save money for the later tech, the Infestors, the Broodlords, these kind of thing. But you're definitely forced to just deal with this here and now.
Yeah, the Greatest Spire is on the way. Raider's on 90 drones. Looks like he
Oh
wants to
my,
go
oh my god!
game,
Crazy storms.
Go down. Zoning out all these units right now. The High Templar run away. One Bailey connects, but it's not enough.
We need more gateway units.
Down. This army does have to retreat on creep for now, but I think herO is taking some good trades right now.
Yeah, very good initial trades, and he also has these stasis wards to fall back to in case the fight starts looking bad. As long as he has like enough energy on the High Templars to keep storming while running away, he's pretty safe. The danger is if he actually runs out of storm and the Zerg can just collapse on your army. That's when the Protoss army can fall apart.
Oh, you got to be careful. You don't want to lose that Tempest for nothing. There's such an expensive unit.
Yeah,
goes
a
down
little bit
just at
sloppy
the
there
front
from
of
herO,
herO's
losing the
army there.
Tempest.
Like you say, got to fall back to these stasis wards pretty soon.
Reynor with enough links, he can get on top of this army.
That caught by the stasis ward. Very nice there for herO. And these
Reynor needs a little bit more time.
So big right now.
Yeah, fresh High Templar coming in, but the big.
The Templar's exposed. The Templar, the Baneling.
And if you can't catch this army
There we go. Does get away.
This will get a little bit scary.
I think we have no Overseers on the field right now, so Reynor actually has nothing to see this cloak. He's going to have to make some. That's a big problem because it looked like he wanted to go.
The one thing keeping Reynor in this game, no Warp Prism. Because of no Warp Prism, it takes so long for herO to reinforce his army. So that's keeping Reynor alive.
And he's gonna be able to
His reinforcements take so
Now
long.
you're basically forced to attack into the army, and then the time warp.
Very nice slow zone.
Time warp
Jesus.
combined with the Immortals and the,
Yeah, GG. GG gets called.
Wow, beautiful time warp there. The whole
And herO
Zerg
does break through. Again, we thought that herO was going to go for a +1 timing. He went for a +2. He went for +2 with like 8 Immortals, like a hefty army there out of herO. With that Reynor, remember we spoke about how greedy Reynor was being, and again he was expecting a longer game. Because herO didn't go for that +1 timing, Reynor, he was like, oh, I guess you're droning, I guess you're probing, I guess you're going into the late game. We assumed that as well. I mean, hey, there was a Tempest, right? There was a Tempest, there was a fleet beacon, there was a mothership. So Reynor, he assumed he was safe. He was not. Instead, herO went for a +2 timing and was able to break Reynor before he could ever really tech up into anything else. GG. GG, well played. herO, he's up 2-0 and he is 1 game away from claiming the series. As I mentioned before, I'm hoping that this isn't a 3-0. I want to see a game 4. I want to see a game 5, but the pressure is on Reynor. Pressure is on. Catching up in the chat. So Phoenix before Oracle, strictly to night vision as early as possible. Yes. It doesn't have to be Phoenix. You can go Void Ray. You can open up Void Ray first. They both have the same role. Void Ray is a little bit more robust. The Phoenix has more potential just because you can also lift units, so you can lift up the Queens. So it's a bit of a give and take with how you want to approach it with Phoenix or Void Ray first. But the purpose there is to deny scouting, and as you saw, he was denying vision and making sure that Reynor didn't know it was Mass Oracle, and the Mass Oracle did crippling damage. He was able to get, was it 16 drone kills? He was able to pick off the Queen, pick off the Spore as well, crippling damage early on, and that set Reynor behind. Reynor, he was trying to recover and trying to be very greedy to catch back up, but he was just too far behind. He lost too much because of all that greed. We saw that herO was able to hit his +2 timing. GG. GG. herO only has Stalkers and Storm as anti-air. The anti-air didn't really matter there. There was a Spire, but we all assumed correctly that Spire was just for Broodlords. You saw the Greater Spire on the way towards the end. That was not meant to be like a muta switch. That'd be crazy. that was meant to be for Corruptors, for Broodlords, for Skytoss, just to re-emphasize that Reynor was taking up very, very heavily there in preparation for the late game. That was his hope, that was that herO was turtling up into late game as well. So Reynor, he gambled, but he had to gamble, right? Just because he was so far behind. Late game take up from herO was semi-fake out. Yeah, I don't know if it was a fake out or if he just changed his mind. Like, I don't that is something that I don't know. Is herO, was he trying to like make it look like he was taking up and he intended to push early, or was he taking up and then he was like, you know what if I just push? Like, that I'm not so sure about, because he still made a Tempest, but he only made one, right? So I don't know if that was like if that was herO being fluid and flexible, or if that was always the plan for herO. I think that's something that you always have to ask yourself, and I don't think you're ever going to know an answer to that. Is that times herO, he just kind of like off the cuff, kind of like, you know, decides things like off the cuff there instead, or sometimes it's pre-planned. Like, it's hard to say for herO, for sure. Hard to say with any like real confidence. But with that, we're going to be going to break here. And again, I'm hoping it's not a 3-0. I'm hoping that we get a game 4 and a game 5, but the pressure is on Reynor, and we'll be back soon with the rest of the series. See you soon. Bye. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, we have returned with our PvZ, I should say, with Reynor versus herO in mid-series. Reynor, he's down 0-2, and again, we're hoping for a bit of a comeback. We're hoping for more games between these two players. But herO, he is looking untouchable so far. I say untouchable. It's been a very aggressive series so far. We saw that in game 1, Reynor, he attempted to go for the proxy hatchery and the early pull timing. He was punished for it. He failed to get damage done early on. Game 2, we had herO being cheeky, opening up Phoenix, going Mass Oracle. He went Mass Oracle up to like 5 Oracles into an early move out, early push. He got a lot of critical damage done and just snowballed from there. And now we're getting into game 3. And again, we're expecting something different out of herO. We're loading into Winter Madness.
Wants to bring out. The map is going to be Winter Madness, guys. In the bottom right, we have Reynor as the red Zerg, and in the top left, it's going to be herO as the blue Protoss.
Yeah, here for T1, Reynor for Basilisk. Now, jumping into our series here, again, Reynor, he's had a bit of a shaky start. What's important is that we have yet to see a standard game. So far, no standard game, but we're loading into Winter Madness. I would say that this is a better map to play standard on from Protoss. herO, he can play standard. Doesn't have to be cheeky, doesn't have to be crazy, doesn't have to be unorthodox. He can play standard and straight up. I feel like this would be the best map for that, but we'll see.
It doesn't guarantee it, obviously, but I mean, otherwise, in most other cases, I feel like the Void Ray is better, or just going for 2 Oracles right away. Do you think that's like a really big tell?
It's some of a tell for sure, and that's also probably like why herO went to the Phoenix, is he really wants to make sure he denies scouting, so he can't see the multiple Oracles, right? With a potential like sneaky Overlord or something like that. And the Phoenix is cheaper, so allows you to keep the target production online a little bit more. So I think that's probably why he went for it. He could do something else with the Phoenix, but it's a little bit of a tell for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys.
They were just discussing the last game. I would push back a little bit. They're talking about like, oh, like, was the Phoenix a tell of the build? I would say no, but it was a tell that something was off, right? Just because we have seen herO go Phoenix into Tempest Rush, we've seen herO go Phoenix into Glaive Adepts. herO, he has a lot of builds that he can hide by going Phoenix first. So I would push back and say that the Phoenix first wasn't a tell that he was going Mass Oracle, but it was a tell that something weird was going on. So that sure. Reynor was just unable to confirm, right? He was just unable to confirm what was being done behind it. And it is difficult to confirm if you lose your Overlords, right?
Yeah, it could be the kind of thing where he just wants to confirm the third and then can maybe potentially hide the probe in the corner, right? As he did open with a complete no scout.
Yeah, indeed. He will... Oh, it just slips through the ring of vision there, but of course he does see it in the natural. I'm kind of wondering if that's worth hiding. I mean, I guess it's not a big deal. Going to try and nibble at these drones. Nothing going to go down, obviously.
Yeah,
Couple
herO
queens
just
on the way, and we
herO just getting eyes on the opener. Oh, Robo first out of herO. Hello.
Nice going with the stalker, and then the
He's
Robo follow-up.
crazy.
We'll see what he actually gets with this. It's not going to be something like fast glaives or fast ETs, because with the Robo first. Might be something like extra gateways coming down here, and we'll see how crazy he goes on the gateway count.
Yeah, this can turn into a Soul Train. This can turn into early Immortal into an Immortal Glaives all-in. Sorry, Immortal Sentry all-in. Otherwise, this could be Prism into an Archon drop with High Templar. When it comes to the Prism build, if he goes into a Warp Prism, then he can go into a Templar Archives and warp in High Templar across the map. So we'll see if this is going to be Archons or if we're going to something else. Our eyes are on herO as he's being hyper-aggressive.
It's most likely just going to be a Dark Shrine. It could be something like where he goes with the Prism first.
Could be
the
Observer first.
I would really expect this to be a Dark Shrine with the extra 2 gases coming in here as well.
Yeah, it looks to be that way. He'll warp into
Yeah, I would
DTs,
agree
maybe
here just
send
because
them
it's
in, see if he
Observer,
can pick
not
off the
Prism.
drones. Then he'll go into
Templar Archives,
Templar
okay.
Archives, okay.
This is a very old build that he's bringing back here.
Yeah, so our initial prediction was correct. So it's going to be Robo into Twilight Council, into Temple Archives, into Archon drop. Now, my assumption was it was going to be War Prism first, it was Observer first, then the War Prism.
Archives, right, rather than that Templar.
Yeah, you don't have the potential to just lose 20 drones to a DT that you didn't know was coming, but you will have High Templar, you can go into Storm eventually, you don't need to remake, make that build in later on.
So basically, this is a delayed Archon drop.
Archons to each, but we will be seeing those Archons being added on in the near future here. There is the Warp Prism, going to make its way out, and 3 gates being added as well to this.
Yeah, so it does make this initial timing a little bit quicker, because normally when they go for the DT Archon drop, they would actually start with the Twilight, right? In this case, it started with the Robo, so this Prism is slightly faster. Obviously, he doesn't have all 4 gateways online right away, so just the first Archon is faster. I think it's going to equalize to being just like a pretty standard timing overall here.
Okay, so let's wait for the other
Reynor
Archon.
does have the Roach Warren early enough to deal with this. You basically can't...
Now, you can see that it's going to be Archon drop into what? Into what looks to be a 2-base all-in, because we're rushing into Charge and the Forger +1. So herO, he's doubling down instead of expanding, taking up, meanwhile, fast layer out of Reynor.
Do you think he might be just sending this on 2 bases here?
Definitely looks like it's at least going to be some committed pressure here with 6 gates and Charge coming in. He's mostly also going to harass a little bit and already warping the Zealots. So this would already tell Reynor off a little bit that, okay, that's a bit more committed than just your normal.
Yeah, the Zealots is a tell.
Yeah, Reynor does see this nice and
Oh
early.
my god.
Wow. Actually, almost picked that off before it finished more.
Barely
there,
saved
he does
it.
manage to save it. Already some health damage to this Warp Prism. That
2 more gates, so it's again it is 2-base all-in. So 2-base all-in at a herO. But again, as was mentioned by the casters here as well, herO revealing 2 Zealots, that's a tell.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
This Archon, dude, is so low. I feel so scared for him. But he's absolutely fearless with his Warp Prism micro.
Yeah, that's a classical hero. You just will push everything, single unit to the limit. Sometimes too far, but that's why it's so exciting to watch as well. But yeah, so Reynor right now should realize that there's no third, which should have ideally already gone down by now, even with this.
Yeah, Reynor needs as many roaches as
kind of
possible.
detail that he can look at to see like, okay, I actually do need to respect this potential follow-up. A tricky thing here as a Zerg player is you can't just like stop making drones and just make only roaches, because this push kind of scales a little bit, because you have the Forge, you have the Archon count, you have the Immortal count. Like you can kind of need a slightly higher drone count than you would expect here as a Zerg to maintain your army to deal with the follow-up waves that can come from this. So he does need to go get a few more drones out, but still make sure he maintains a healthy Roach Ravager count so he can actually deal with the army as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's got a good number of roaches out now. Starts adding.
I appreciate that from sort of emphasizing that Reynor, he still needs to drone up somewhat here because of how well like Archon and Immortal can scale.
Anyway, they often do that.
Yeah.
Oh, Ling's
But he will try to add in drones when he can. But right now,
yeah, this is
the Protoss
dangerous.
army is moving across the map. Decent number of Zealots, 3 Archons in the mix.
That's a healthy amount of Roach Ravager though.
Yeah, one problem here for Reynor is Roach speed is not done yet, and ideally you would like to meet this push right now when he hits the creep, so you can start picking off these Zealots one by one with the Roaches. But without the Roach speed, it's just too cost inefficient to actually fight this army. So a little bit unfortunate there for herO, but herO does not capitalize and just starts +2, starts Blink, and goes back home. And he's going to play for that later follow-up timing. I don't really expect him to start Storm here. I expect him to just keep morphing in Archons like he is and just try to ship it with +2 ideally.
Yeah, so as you can see here, he shouldn't be engaging because he shouldn't lose this army. He should be retaining this army, preserving it for that later time with +2.
The third base with the Lings. That's why he poked in there. He sees that
Gets into the main.
herO is probing that base up.
And gets
so
a drone.
now he starts adding in his own workers.
2, 3 drones.
The
Not
60s
bad.
Here, adding on extra gases.
Very
at
nice.
that third base, and we may see this start to develop into something more of a normal-looking mid-game here, but via a slightly different route.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned for Reynor just because his drone count was kind of low initially.
Yeah.
He's catching back up now, but it's been a long time where he's been lower than he should have.
Right.
Which means that this follow-up timing, and here does start up Storm, it's going to be harder to deal with the follow-up timings because you will have less economy than you ideally.
Yeah, you can see it here. Like hero's had the better economy for longer. Reynor going for mutas. Oh, this is crazy. We don't have room for this. No shot.
Yeah, I think the question here is, does herO want to send this as Storm and
Like hero's gonna push with +2 and Storm. Like no shot. We have room for mutas.
If he sits back, the mutas might be able to get into a mineral line, start dealing damage. That's one way Reynor could get back into this game. But if he's aggressive, the Spire will basically be, you know, a cost that didn't pay off for you yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So Bane is becoming online now, but Storm and Blink and +2 is already finished. So if herO wants to, he could potentially start moving out on the map now. Doesn't need to push, but he can go out on the map. And
So Reynor, thankfully he is making roaches. He's maxing out. Okay, he's maxing out with Ling Roach.
it's a way to keep your fourth base here alive, right?
Yeah, for sure. And right now, herO actually has the worker lead. I'm getting a bit worried.
And
for
here
Reynor.
he's soon going to push out. He's soon going to commit with a terrifying army.
I feel like otherwise, herO's economy is
How
gonna
many
be out of
storms?
control, but here comes the push as well.
I think he has 4 High
This is so
Templar.
scary for Reynor. Do you make them mutas or not is the question. He is going to fire up some. He feels like he can defend this
Oh,
push
7 meters on the way.
regardless.
That's going to hurt him.
Scares off the army with these bios. But there's some actual
Warping
units
into the
here,
main.
fifth base of Reynor. If he's able
Warping
to pick
in,
off
nice
a base
storm.
while he pushes down here, that would be good for him.
Storm zones.
Especially if he gets both hatcheries here.
Yeah, both hatcheries will go down.
For herO for sure. And like we have to remember, Reynor's drone count is still very, very low. So he not only does he need to stay alive here, he also needs to find a way to somehow stop herO's aggression on the other side of the map as well. So he's like 2 problems that he's not able to solve right now.
Yeah, I think that's the second Stargate. So here he has access to to Phoenixes. Sorry, that's the first Stargate. Should emphasize.
Flying around the edge of the map here. They are. Oh, they could actually pick off that prism. That would be a nice catch. But he's going to send those probably round to the third base or the main of herO. Try to hit the worker lines. Surprise him with
The scary thing here is that, again, these mutas are quote-unquote dead supply defensively. It means that the Reynor's main army is that much smaller.
But in a case like this, where you're kind of desperate as Reynor, you do need to find some way to slow herO down here. You definitely don't want to show the mutas too early.
Yeah, Reynor still not able to take a 4th base 10 minutes into the game. This is quite wild, but he is going to get into the mineral line, start picking off probes. This is his counter damage. Here it feels
Nice
like he needs
storms.
to make
Oh my
something
god.
happen. The Banelings get some
Templar
big
get called
connections
out.
on
No
the
more
high
storms
Templar,
left.
Force them all to morph. Reynor needs to stay alive right now.
Yeah, all the storms are gone now though.
Yeah.
And there's still
Good fight for Reynor.
here. There are 4 immortals in the back, but the Archons are starting to disappear.
Wow, one engagement by Reynor.
Yeah, no reinforcements, no prism across the map. Reynor, he's
The
holding.
other side. Oh my god, this is so many high Templar.
Okay.
They run through their own storms.
God.
And they're all going to get taken out or forced to morph.
Yeah, miscontrol out of
And the
herO.
The reinforced
Rallies
units
into
will
the
take them all
army.
out. That was so expensive for herO.
Yeah, in the end, I think this probably ended up being as close to as good as herO could, or Reynor could hope for. He just managed to reset the army. He gets a good amount of worker damage. But if you look at the worker count, it's still just even. And only now is the Hive coming in for Reynor. The big win there, though, is resetting the Immortal and High Templar count. It's very expensive. It takes a lot of time to build up again.
So it's one of those things where, as sort of is pointing out, Reynor still has no 4th. He still has no 4th base. Reynor actually has a worse economy. The drone count, the worker count is even, but that is deceptive, right? The soup lies. The soup does lie. Reynor, he's oversaturated on 3 bases. herO has a 4th, and he maintains his 4 bases. He shut down the mutas. The mutas were shut down. As sort of was emphasizing, it's important that herO's Immortal and High Templar count was reset. That's the one thing keeping Reynor in this game.
We have a great Aspire already coming out for Reynor.
Yeah, I think this Void is pretty much just like a, oh, I know I'm very far ahead, and I'm a bit worried of dying to potential, like, Roach all-in or something like that. And just getting a single safety Void rate just to make sure that he cannot die to something like that.
Yeah, indeed. We see more High Templar, more upgrades. Adrenal on the way at the same
Nice
time
round with
as
Reynor,
+1 melee.
with the
Actually,
Lings.
before +1 melee. I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm not sure.
I believe recall's on cooldown.
Sometimes when they're going lurkers or something, but in definitely not.
So very nice catch. All these Sorgs are going to be thrown away. Oh, brutal run by.
Damage that Reynor cannot afford. This is a very good trade for Reynor, but again, he's playing kind of a losing game here, right? Where his economy is just so much worse than herO. His fights have been really good. The previous fight and this fight all look very, very good. but he needs somehow to be able to establish his 4th base, get a 5th base online, and he still needs to find a bit more damage, I feel like, to hero's economy.
Yeah, it looks like herO was able to take out all those mutilators. Oh!
Oh.
He actually changes his mind and turns around.
Yeah, I think he realizes that there already is cannons and batteries in the middle lines due to the mutas, and he knows that these are unupgraded links, so he's like, okay, with warpins and the static, it's probably not enough to actually get anything done. I am not very rich right now. I want to try to keep these links alive a little bit longer.
Yeah, I thought we were having a herO moment there.
We have some desperation Broodlords on the way for Reynor. He has 2 Broodlords, soon to be 3 with that 3rd Corruptor, so he's slowly building up his army. But as they were emphasizing here, the economy is still very lackluster for Reynor. Here is getting a 5th expansion up and running. Ay, ay, ay. Now, thankfully for Reynor, there's no Sky Toss, right? Like, there's a Mothership on the way, but there's no Tempest production or anything like that.
And he's going to try and drag this out. And we actually have... I thought all the Mutalists died. He still has 2 left. They pretty much killed the Prism, and that's all they can do. This Void Ray actually moving all the way across the map here. I don't know what this guy is doing.
This is a very fun interaction 30 minutes into the game, but does get a roach and then gets out of there.
That's just herO things, man. How did he get value from a Void Ray that moved across the map after a Mutalisk play?
Yeah, well, there's not that much value in the end, losing it there. But yeah, so Reynor is going for like the one last play he really has here. Like after how this game has played out, he didn't really have any timings he could hit to actually kill herO. So now he's just going into the
5 broods.
The tricky part now for Reynor is he still needs to build a bank here. He needs to get a better army. He needs spellcasters. He needs more broodlords. But he also somehow needs to trade out this Roach Ravager army.
Right.
And that's kind of the very tricky part in this state of the game is you want to slowly trickle out your army. You don't want to lose everything at once because then you're open to counterattacks and run-bys and whatnot.
Yeah, Reynor trying to hit this Broodlord timing before the capital ships for herO can come out, because once you have Tempests on the field, the Broodlords pretty much have to go home. We do see the first one.
Yeah, as sort of mentioned, like, it's so crucial here that Reynor has to throw his roaches. He has to slowly bleed out those roaches as one of the Broodlords does go down.
There's no real anti-air except for the Corruptors now.
Second Broodlord falls.
If they could snipe the Tempest,
And the 3rd, they're down to 2.
Oh, the Crossing Path's gonna get the Tempest
Oh.
actually. That's pretty
Nice biles.
here. I don't think there's enough Broodlords left to actually keep pushing though, so he's just gonna be forced to go back home. And I think that's an okay trade-ish for Reynor. He would have preferred to keep some of those Broodlords alive, but he did get to trade out some of that ground army that he can now replace with more air units and spellcasters.
Yeah, indeed. He's almost up to 80 drones now. He's added.
Yeah, you can see Reynor is trying to switch into lurker attack. Oof.
Really trying to set up for
like it's a ways away.
Game high-tech army here on the side.
Upgrades, of course, heavily in favor of herO.
We may see a carrier transition at some point as that second Stargate goes down, but right now, herO is sensing
nice one of the broods. One left.
That transition happens. He's starting to push.
Yeah, not enough Broodlords here to actually deal with this ground army. And
Yeah, here he can't be stopped. Like, here he's just moving in.
Here. And Reynor does not want to get forced into making units like Hydras and Roaches here, right? But he kind of has to actually fight this army because he doesn't have the time to make more Broodlords to actually deal with this army.
The Fungal goes down on the army. It's a good one, but there's not enough follow-up. A lot of bios go on the Mothership, but that thing is so tanky, it will not fall. If he's able to pick that up for the Corruptors, that could be huge. This base falls, though, for Reynor. He's looking in all kinds of trouble right now. Gonna get the Mothership eventually, it looks like. The rest of herO's army comes down here. 31 drones going down. If Reynor loses this base...
Yeah, Reynor's just being pulled apart. But again, he's been playing from behind for almost the entire game here. Reynor, it's been a really rough game for him. Trying to catch up, trying to keep up with herO as he barely saves the expansion. But that's still going to be 31 drones going down.
Going for this late game comp, which is super expensive, and now his economy is very crippled. You're kind of gonna get forced into a semi all-in here, because again,
yeah, Reynor's been all in for a long time at this point.
He has a very
like he's gonna commit.
High quality unit.
He's got 5 lunkers on the way. Let's go.
Very tricky here for Reynor to actually
3 infestors. He's making what he can.
Control again, right, and get a 5th base up, and actually start to deny some of the bases for herO.
Yeah, indeed. One way he may be able to get some good fights here is with the lurkers that we see out now. Oh, this is actually... Oh!
He still gets it!
I think that's still worth it, even if you lose like 10 zealots for that.
GG,
GG's.
It's too broken to keep up with Protoss army at that point.
Yeah, only 50 drones versus, I think it was the six bases of herO, the 80 probes. Amazing economy. What a game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just like the early game, Reynor getting a little bit too defensive there probably. Like he read what was happening, but his drone count was just a little bit too low. So even though he kept taking good fight after good fight, herO ended up being even or ahead anyways, even after losing the fights, just because Reynor's economy wasn't really able to keep scaling at the same rate as herO's was. And that's the kind of situation where if you're on that drone count and you have a clean defense and you don't manage to find the counter-attack timing, and all of a sudden all the benefits you got from winning the fight just goes away really, really quickly.
Yeah, it was really nice that sort of was able to emphasize that during the early game. If you remember what he's referring to, what we're talking about, if you wind it back, is that herO, he initially went for an Archon drop opener, a delayed Archon drop opener into a follow-up immortal charge timing. And if you remember, Reynor, because he was aware that something weird was going on, he was staying on a low drone count, and he was building up his roaches. And sort of he was emphasizing how it was really important that Reynor still squeezes out a couple of drones. Doesn't over drone, but they still gets a couple of workers here and there to be able to maintain his economy. Otherwise he'll be outscaled. And we saw that Reynor wasn't droning. He cut workers early, under 3 base saturation, built up on Roach Ravager, and even though Reynor survived, even though Reynor didn't take damage, it was inadvertent damage because he was just being outscaled, because herO had the better economy, right? herO, he just had the better economy, was able to build up and just outscale. Reynor was playing from behind, and you saw that Reynor, it took him so long to get a 4th base, and even then he never held on to it, but he could just never get a 4th. He could never get a proper economy, and because of that, he was just playing from behind. He was just playing from behind from almost almost the beginning, from like the early game, basically, from that initial like defense that Reynor was pulling off. And again, Reynor, he had some really nice fights, catching the Stalkers, catching the Immortals as well. He had some nice fights for sure, but like Reynor, he always had the worst economy, of course, compared to herO, which is a terrifying thing in ZvP. So GG, well played. With that, herO will take it. herO was favored, but again, I was hoping it wasn't going to be 3-0. I was hoping it was going to be more of a back and forth, but regardless, GG, well played, congratulations. And now we're getting ready for the final series of the broadcast. We're going to be jumping into Maru versus MaxPax in 4 minutes time. Let's go. Let us go. Reynor needs to train more. I think expectations are important. It's important to bear in mind that herO is literally one of, if not the best Protoss player in the world. So I would say there's no shame in going down to herO. So yeah, I would say that even at their best, I mean, we would expect more of a back and forth for sure. But herO, he's a very difficult player to play against. We've even seen herO take it to Serral as well. That's why I say arguably he's the best. I say arguably just because he's a very different kind of player compared to MaxPax and Classic, where Classic has, I would say, superior late game compared to herO, but herO has superior mid game compared to Classic. So they're very different kind of players, kind of like two sides of the same coin when it comes to Protoss. But GG, well played. With that, we're going to be going on a break, and when we come back, we will have the final series of the broadcast. See you soon. With that, PBT.